politics. I was just talking about how I was going to get into this. I'm starting it right now. I don't have time to go through the entire list of every political leader, but I've already mentioned before how ironic it is that all of our political leaders in Congress and the Senate, we get to see them on the news more than we ever used to. About how people think that the internet is is destroying humanity. It's not the internet, it's people. Just like people in our Congress, just like people in everyday society, just like people doing horrible crimes and bringing up horrible circumstances to leave a horrible impression on our history, which history will all remember. We are holding the leaders of our own country responsible for their own actions, and it seems like the only party right now that's trying to step away from a hypocritical stance would be the Republican and the Elephant Party, which did in fact inflame and inflate and get involved with this whole far-right lifestyle way of going about their lives. And then same thing with the left side. They realize that extreme leftism is no better. We don't need a far left or far right. In fact, in a couple fictional games I play, between Fallout, Grand Theft Auto, and even in other games, I'm trying to think, it's either a mockery of our own country or it's a future forecast predicted dark reality of where we're headed. In the Fallout universe, it's the extreme democratic future, where it becomes a faction run on strict taxation, government control. And we all know that Republicans are about free, no government control. Well, in our real life, they're more so about basically not standing up for the environment enough, not owning up for their own party, and always envisioning this fear-mongering push, this fear. I'm not going to say Democrats don't push fear, because sure they do, but they don't do it as big and as falsely, shamefully as the Republicans. The Democrats are too big and talking about some of the extreme leftism and the pushing construct and what needs to be changed and pushed and forced with undecided, do-nothing kind of policies. And it's about time we see a difference there, because doing nothing is no better than pushing fears and not getting anything done either. So both parties are equally responsible. I think that's a short, simple summary of our political leaders now. Now, as for Marjorie Taylor Greene, you think she would actually realize what she's doing to her own party? No, she doesn't care. Brain dead, Karen. Look up a documentary about Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene. Learn about her past history. You'll learn where she came from and how she got to where she was by marrying richly into rich, wealthy men. And same goes for other political leaders who are in the Republican Party and some of which who are in the Democratic Party. So there's the point right there. Now, is it a bad thing that we have to watch our political leaders on TV? That they're more open about what they say and do? Not really, because this so-called swamp that we had was always a swamp. There was always a swamp there. And the whole theory that Donald Trump made a bigger swamp? No, we always had a swamp, just like we always had sows of division and differences in our own country in the United States. That's a fact. It's always been there. The whole theory is that Donald Trump made this country more dangerous. No, he didn't. He just showed what we always have had. And that's the sad reality. We've always been divided. We've always had differences of opinions. He just inflamed and invoked fears and things in people's minds, and many people who are too brain dead or easily manipulated decided to jump up and do crazy stuff about it. These recent assassination attempts on him are disgraceful. Joe Biden said it best, and so did everybody else and who spoke about this prior before I made this video. Violence needs to stop. There is no place for it in politics. Our children don't need to grow up in a world afraid to be able to speak and be who they are, let alone our leaders to represent and defend our parts of our Constitution, our country, or ourselves, and what our constituents and any of which, whomever is fighting for their own freedoms, to have their own principles, to live and to be in the pursuit of happiness, just like the fundamental foundations of our Constitution and what we are built by in this country, even for the most basic immigrant who comes to our country, to learn to grow and be who they want to be. So it's good that we have the internet. People say the internet's destroying us. No, it's actually keeping a stronger awareness to a reality algorithm that keeps us aware of what's going on every day. And if you don't want to follow it and you want to remain ignorant to it, you can't sit there and complain when something goes wrong and a different person gets elected in. See, when Donald Trump won, I didn't cry. I might have voted for crooked Hillary. Sure, she's no better than half the politicians back there, but I was no mad Hillary supporter. I made that decision at the last minute, and I'm not even proud I had to do it, because honestly, Donald Trump's presidency wasn't all that bad, except for the inflamed fear-mongering and the 4 years of endless campaigning and the do-nothing enrich his wealthy friends. And sure, one tax break for us in the first year, but after that, there was no more tax breaks. The rich got richer, the country went into debt. Every time there was a shooting, Donald Trump didn't do enough to put an emphasis on the seriousness of these shootings, and all he did every time he spoke to rallies or went out was run it like it was still a rally back in 2016. The Democrats during that time and some of the people that came out, some of the worst in the woodwork, if you forgot about certain incidents, they made a shameful disgrace to the Democratic Party and even to the political satire and even to Hollywood standards, like Kathy Griffin, who made a decapitated head of Donald Trump and even went after Donald Trump's youngest son, Barron Trump. Disgraceful. This stuff actually happened. You can look it up. There's the Hunter Biden situation, Hunter Biden scandal, Hillary Clinton's emails, the Benghazi. There's a whole list of things. But here's the thing. Remember back on 9/11? What did we do in this country when terrorists attacked our country? Did we sit there and debate and haggle and become divided in our country? No, we did not. We stood back and we defended each other because police officers, innocent United States Americans, whom of which were citizens, workers, international folks, firefighters, police, paramedics, they died in the process of trying to save people from the World Trade Centers. We united as a country, and ever since that day, after that effect, it seems like division has become the new norm, to self-divide between the parties and to pit each other against one another. We can't keep doing this. We have a country of children who are growing up in a world so epitomied, divided, that there is no difference to knowing what a person's beliefs and faiths are when you come across them and how they're going to treat you. That's why Islamic people are nervous around every American, and so forth with even Hindus, Asians, Koreans, and whomever else from past wars, even in degrees to the Vietnamese and so forth, of every war from before and the generations from before that who discriminated against certain cultures because based on wars, political differences, reasons why we even went to Iraq, which was definitely not for just the factor of 9/11, but for the oil. There's no doubt there, and there's no hiding it. Come on now, seriously. That's an old issue, long gone. Bush administration can get blasted for all of what he did wrong, but you know what? We're in a new future now, and we have to make action quickly. I have to stop my video because pretty soon he's going to be coming down for a beer. I want to thank you for watching and taking the time. My freedom is not as free as it usually is because I have to deal with him getting involved with me and making my life feel threatened a lot of the time. He'll come at me, he'll look at me, he'll walk up on me, he'll stare at me, he'll be disturbing, he'll be creepy. I want to thank you again for watching this video today, and as the future goes forward, I'd love to hear your comments, your feedback, and anything more you'd like to hear, because again, remember, it's not the internet that's the enemy, it's people's inability to act and try to get involved and learn and listen before they talk and speak, just like what I will always try to do, to learn from others and to do better by others. Thank you again for watching, and let's make America and this world a better place, because I want to make a shout out to Mr. Beast. He's going around in Africa doing deep wells to help struggling villages in Africa. If Mr. Beast can do that, a famous YouTuber, there's no endless potential of what can be done. And Mr. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, who bought Twitter, named it X, you know, what has he done? I mean, I know he's super rich and I know he's smart, but he made some very poor inflammatory comments, which I don't need to bash him for. He's going to get his own heat for that one. But think about the reality that, you know, I mean, we need to do better. And we have good political leaders and smart people doing what they can do, speaking out even from the movies, from California, even Taylor Swift. She's a smarter and more logical person to do good for people. She does good causes for everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care.